Some of us can't grow in life because our identity or our soul can't grow, can't mature, can't improve. Our personality, our character, because it is tied to an identity that we created in the past in order to conform and to acquiesce to what was going on in that time. It could be the jewelry that you wear, the hair that you've allowed to grow, a beard, you know what I'm saying? Your dress style, how you talk, how you walk, how you interact with other people. And that identity that we've created for that time to acquiesce to what was going on in that time is what's keeping us from continuing to attract, to manifest, and to create in this time what we desire. For me, one of the things that I did, in my youth, to acquiesce, to kind of conform, to blend in, was I pierced my ears. And anytime I had earrings on, I never felt comfortable with earrings on. It just felt like it wasn't me, right? And I still wore them up until like 25. So for almost 10 years, I wore earrings for like 8 or 9 years, right? And not all the time, only when I went out. When I was in the house, I never put them shits on, right? My hair, I never liked having my hair short. My mother used to shave me and my brother's hair from age 7 to like 12, 13. When I started working and I started paying for my own haircuts. The only other time I ever shaved my hair after that was when I went into the military. I had grown it for 3 years. When I came out, I always had it well cut. You know what I'm saying? I had the bread to do it. So anytime I've had money, I've always kept my hair in check. If you see me out of whack, it's because my money ain't. Mind you, I've always kept myself well groomed. And anytime that I haven't been well groomed, like beard and shape up, it's been on purpose, right? I picked up the habit of grooming myself around 14, 15 when I saw my cousin early in the morning shaping himself up. I was like, ooh, boom, copycat. Took that, from his book of life, added it to my book of life, made it part of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a master of barbering, but I'm more like a jack of many trade. I'm a master of none, but oftentimes that ends up being a whole lot better than just a master of one. For my family, for myself, so on and so forth, right? So I've always kept myself well groomed, you know what I'm saying? In college, I let my beard and everything grow out for like 18 months, almost 2 years. I didn't cut, I didn't shape myself up, I didn't groom myself at all. I was just nappy, you know what I'm saying? Hair grown, everything. The whole time that I was fighting and going to college for my bachelor's, I never groomed. So, once I woke up and I realized that my feelings and my thoughts weren't me, and at that moment, I stopped identifying with feelings and thoughts. I started identifying with the conscious, mindful actions that I took to mold myself into somebody that I could respect, admire, appreciate, love, look up to, and be willing to follow through thick and thin, right? And it started, like I said, after I did the mushrooms, bro, my bachelor, my 2 years working on my bachelor's, or the 18 months that I spent working on my bachelor's, I ain't groomed myself. I trained like a maniac. I fought 6 times in those 18 months. I won 2 titles. And then I shaved it all off, right? I went 3 years with hair, and then I went 90 days as a bald man because I never liked having my hair short. So I made myself have it short until I stopped. So yeah, in 2021, I was like, I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to donate it. But then I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to donate it. I'm going to burn it. So I cut my hair. I blow dried it. I cut it. 3 years of growing it. Cut it. Burnt it. And as I'm burning it, I had my little niece there. And she was like, oh, it looks like the Osos is not going to bother you no more. So that was very telling. You know what I'm saying? Such a young child saying something like that when I told her what I was doing with my hair. And for 90 days, or up until I stopped feeling uncomfortable and I started feeling myself being bald, you know what I'm saying? That's when I started to grow it. And, now I'm going to have it long for about 10 years. So around my 42nd or 44th birthday, I'll probably shave it all off again. Very likely shave it all off again. And burn it all over again. You know what I'm saying? And burn that identity, whatever identity I created for that time. You know what I'm saying? So that the new identity can be born. And for everybody, it's going to be different, family. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's been like superficial things like that. Material things have been the thoughts, the feelings have been the things that in the past have limited my growth, right? Those are the identity that I've identified with that has limited my growth. But a lot of people, man, they're growing up, you know, being called gordo, gordita, you know what I'm saying? Like gorda, pajero, you know, like different names. I don't know. I don't know a lot of them in English, but you know, a lot of people growing up, they start giving their children like these little cute names, fat, sugar, or whatever it is, and these people start identifying with these names, these labels, and sometimes those labels may limit our growth. There's dudes out here that haven't cut their hair in so long, they haven't shaved their beard, and that's their identity. Some of us have our identity tied to our insecurities. Some of us have our identity tied to our ability to be witty and to get over on people. Some of us have our identity tied to self-destructive habits, thoughts, feelings, etc. And, you know, until we stop identifying with those things, a lot of the growth in our life is going to be hampered by what we identify with. This shit, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I got it on here. But if I were to start going bald, God forbid, right? I'd shave it all off. I'm not holding on to anything that I don't need to hold on to, man. I'm not holding on to anything materially or superficially or even relationship. I'm not holding on to people that are just going to drag me down. So some people's identity is tied to fucking victimhood. They are the victim. They're always getting done wrong. Nothing can ever go right for them, etc., etc., etc. My mother wasn't there. My father wasn't there. My mom was a bitch. My father was a bitch, etc., etc., etc. This bitch cheated on me. My boy fucked my bitch. My boy fucked my ex, etc., etc., etc. They never fucking grow because they're tied to victimhood. That's one of the worst things that you can tie your identity to. Being a fucking victim. Being somebody that's always seeking out pity from other people. Like, motherfucker, nobody cares. Everybody's dealing with their own bag of tricks that they purposely put in there to help them on their soul development in this life. And some of them, they ain't gonna make it out, man. At the end of the day, we all die, so move the fuck on and grow. Best thing you can tie your children's identity to is winning and learning how to handle losses. Get them addicted to winning and learning how to handle losses. Push them to fail, consistently over time. The more failures, the more chances for success. That's something that I gotta learn. You know what I'm saying? I hate losing. I lost one fight and I was like, I'm never losing again. One sanction. I lost many fights growing up, but you know, I lost one sanctioned fight in front of 500 so people. And I was like, I never want to lose again. I never knew I hated losing so much. And then I trained to never lose, right? I'm still losing in other aspects of life, but we're still working on that. Tie your children's identity to consistency, to doing the best every chance they get, even when they don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be 10% or 110%. Tie their identity to doing what is right, especially when nobody's looking, to doing what is good, regardless of how you feel like, etc., etc., etc. Tie their identity to integrity, to commitment, to being honorable, to being good, to bringing glory and grace to you and Almighty God, so that they bring honor, glory, and grace to themselves. We're about to get some games.